New York Post posted an interesting article that's claiming that the UFC fighters are receiving less than 16% of the revenue. Let's talk about it. We back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video, and check out our MMA playlist for more videos like this. And I think most people can't believe it on the outside looking in. Daniel Cowboy Cerrone, he only made $200,000. He had a winner's fee. Obviously, he didn't beat Conor McGregor in his first pay-per-view and didn't get any pay-per-view back-end money. You know, they claiming stars like an Uber agent or whatever. He made, you know, $3+ million just last year on the revenue. Mark Wahlberg made some money. So, you know, some of these the UFC is paying these investors more money than the actual fighters. And I believe the grand total of the pot is $900 million, and they making under 16%. And that's compared to leagues like the NFL and NBA, who are around 50 and 48% of the revenue goes to the players. So, can you really scream unfair? Yes, it's very unfair. But one of the things about it is it keep the fighters active, it keep the fighters, you know, fighting the best. But they drastically underpaid. You know what I'm saying? And they gotta fight, no matter win, lose, or draw. They gotta get back out there and fight and make respectable money. And I believe some of them got side gigs. Some of them still work in construction and stuff of that nature, man. And to pay them 16%, they the ones that's, you know, laying their lives on the line. And you see Mark Wahlberg, and he getting, you know, I forget what they said he got, but one guy, the Uber CEO, whatever, he got $3+ million. You know, last year, you know, off the cut. And there's no telling what Dana White bringing home, you know. So, you know, of course they deserve a 50% of the revenue what they put in their lives on the line. But Dana White got complete control over everything. So when they do a UFC video game compared to a boxing, in boxing you got to go to each individual fighter to get their likeness on the game. In the UFC, Dana White and the WME, who owns the UFC, they control all of that. They have the rights to the fighters' names, their likeness. So Dana White just signs on them, and any fighter they want to be on the UFC video game, Dana White controls it. It's a dictatorship. It's not another promoter in there. They paying the most. They're the most popular right now, so they really don't have a rival to really push them. You know, Bellator, they just really can't keep up with what the UFC doing right now. So it's crazy. They bringing in $900 million, I think they say, per year, and you know the fighters seeing less than 16%, under 16% of that money. But what the fighters gonna do? You know, they gonna strike, not fight. Then Dana White probably go somewhere else and find some other fighters. He got them by the balls. But you know, this is a good article to publicly shame them and paying them more money. They deserve 40%, 50% of the revenue. They really do. You know, Dana White still got control over everything, so it ain't like they gonna just fight and refuse to fight the best. They get stripped of their belt. Dana White to drop them out the rankings. He still control everything. It's just greed. It's just greed, but it's a poor man's sport. And when it's a poor man's sport like this, I think you get the best out of the fighters. You see boxing, they put all this money into boxing, and now you're not getting the best fights. But the difference with boxing is it's streets. It's different networks, different promotional companies. They refuse to work together, but that won't happen as long as Dana White is just the UFC, you know, and it's like a league. It's like the NBA, it's like the NFL. It's totally different than boxing. Boxing has multiple networks and multiple television series and management companies and advisors and promoters and different digital platforms. It's totally different. UFC is one league like the NFL and NBA, where they control everything. So they wouldn't have to give up control. They just have to pay the guys more money. It's probably something in their contract or non-disclosure agreement when they sign up not to complain about the money they're getting. Dana White crosses his T's and dots his I's. He ain't stupid. That's what they're doing. They put a non-disclosure agreement so they can't complain in public about the money. But, you know, we'll see if, you know, people keep talking about it, publicly shame them into paying them some more money. They deserve it. You know, if anybody getting less than 16% of the revenue in a sport like this is ludicrous, man. But hey, it's Goodfellas Sports TV. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App, PayPal there as well. Best way to donate is share the video. And let me know what you guys think about UFC fighters receiving under 16% of the UFC's revenue, man. I think it's pretty pathetic. It's pretty sad. But y'all know what it is. Goodfellas Sports TV. One time for the one time. We gone.